they just want to dominate. They just want to destroy it. And so, yes, their presence can ruin the very thing that they're trying to feed on and kill it. But in a sense, it's just kind of like they have fed on it, and then they're just going to kind of journey to the next host. And so they can only kind of jump from one thing to another. And so, yeah, I mean, it's destructive, but it's that's why I encourage people to understand the planetary body under the same principles that one understands the human body, and that these things function like a disease would. And its goal is to stay alive, it's to feed off of its host, it's to manipulate its host, and that's where the, our emotions and our minds are somewhat controlled. It's kind of like the cells of our body become controlled by cancer when, we continue to eat the wrong foods and we don't take care of ourselves and we live in fear and we just consider ourselves, okay, well, we're going to die because we have cancer. And then there's the brave ones that prove the doctor's wrong and actually recover and do it alternatively. So, I mean, we're set up with the same scenario right now that we can all live in that doom of, we're all going to be destroyed and give ourselves that death sentence that doctors sometimes do. Or we can recognize that these things are functioning in a similar way, that parasites and germs and disease attacks the body, and we can increase the immune system and increase the quality of life in each of our own lives, and not, emanate this lower world in our personal relationships. I mean, we're all guilty if we're fighting with people, if we're negative, if we're judgmental, if we're, addicted, if we're watching TV. I mean, we have the power to step away from all that and say, why are we even participating in being a part of this disease if we're pissed off about it? And so, it's just kind of like changing the game and changing one's awarenesses and perceptions and lifestyle choices in order to counteract. And because on a collective conscious level, we're attracting this. This is a reflection of our spiritual health, which is not very well right now. It's pretty sick. And, if we could embody the truth of it all, then we'd be a vibrant, balanced, holistic, thinking world, and there would be no way anything negative could thrive in it. But as long as we're living this half-assed existence and we're giving our power away and we're, emanating the same kind of wars that we hate in our own particular worlds, and we're not in unity consciousness with one another, then, this is just a reflection of our own imbalance. And because of our imbalance, we've attracted this, but it's a lot more than that, because these are very powerful agendas, and the archons were created before the planetary body was created, and they quickly took hold of the planetary organism. So the fact that Sophia morphed into the planet is really our protection, and that's why our alliance with Gaia is crucial in our transmutation and transformation.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I like the body analogy. That's a good mind picture there. So
yeah, because it can get really we can get so lost in the information and like what are we supposed to and that's really the one way that I've always written about, even since I was young, as far as how to really understand what we need to do to simplify it instead of how are we going to battle these things. It's just like it's really just we confront the same sort of scenarios just every day in our lives, as far as how do we deal with those who attack us, who criticize us, who want to control us, abusive relationships, or illnesses that we take on. And it's just, but we're thinking of in a way that we are all part of Gaia, that we are collective conscious. We are a living organism on this planetary body, that Gaia is the physical body, and we are parts of it. So when we all figure this out and we can co-create and extend our souls to the world soul and heal this planet in the same way we would heal ourselves, then just that awareness alone is most of the work done.
So I kind of see it as just if you can heal yourself and get yourself whole and right with the planet and connect in with life and start living that, then you just naturally are doing your part to help to heal the planet too. Yep.
And so that's kind of my real strong mission, is to just get people just interested in doing their part. And if we're all doing it, then we're home free. But most people, just don't bother, and they think either some savior's going to come, or they just, they just are waiting for what disaster that is predicted is going to happen. And, we have a lot more creative control than we think. And we really need to just accept that and step up to the plate.
Yeah. It's kind of the whole thing when I'm just one person mentality. And
yeah.
How can I change the world? One thing I keep noticing over the figures that have changed the world, either positive or negatively, one thing I keep finding is that they always first had a drastic change within themselves. I could think of a few examples, but I notice if you really want to start changing your planet and changing your environment, you really have to start with yourself. If you can't do that, then you're always fighting something.
Yep, and we're dreaming. I mean, in a sense, this is a dream, and so when we're dreaming at night, we create nightmares, and we have experiences that are scary, and but a lot of times we can shift the dream while we're dreaming, and a lot of it just has to do with our frequencies. And when one thinks about the true masters that are able to create miracles and walk through walls, it's like, we're dealing with a dumbed down DNA. I mean, 95% of it isn't activated. It's called junk DNA, and that really connects to, our abilities. And just through certain techniques, one can activate this again. And its power is far greater than any of these archons, because they're only dumbing it. They're dumbing us down so much that we forgot really what we're capable of. We're dealing with a 4D, 3D world, but there's 12 dimensions really. I mean, the whole just the whole matrix of even the human DNA and the cosmic DNA. We're in such a low density being controlled, but if we could just expand ourselves beyond these veils and just step into the fact that they can only manipulate such a small part of us. They can't touch the 95% that isn't activated, except for only through giving us some sort of amnesia that it's not even there. And that's why religion has sort of tricked us too. It's all about being powerless, looking to a Christ, looking to a Savior, and that's all real. Christ is real. But the message of Christ was that Christ and Magdalene were liberators, and it was about how they were helping us be set free. It wasn't about us needing to worship them, and they were going to do the work for us or decide whether or not we're sinners or we're good enough or not good enough. It's really about co-creation. It's about them helping us set us free by really understanding that they said that we're just like them. And religion has kind of made it so that we're always looking to something external and hoping that some miracle happens. But we have to embody these divine abilities and make the miracles happen ourselves and become Christ Sophia conscious, which means that we are embodying, those abilities. And a lot of people are lazy and they don't want to. And we're not quite ready for that yet. I mean, that's what karma is. That's what the wheel of necessity is. That's what trial and error is. That's why we fall on our face. And that's what evolution is. It's showing us what it means to be completely oblivious and unawake, and look at what happens to the planet when we do that. And then when we've had enough, we step to the other side and say, okay, well, that didn't work. So let's choose this other route. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't shown this other option because it's been manipulated out of our world. And so that's kind of what my voice represents, is that there's this whole missing link that we can get in touch with and change the game. And, it's not easy to discover all this because we're not born into a lot of opportunity to become aware of it. And so for me to do this, I had to go into the wilderness for a couple of years. I was out of my body for a long time. I was really just being worked by the forces out there of the positive nature to make sure that I would understand all this and not only break free, but survive to tell the tale and assist humanity in this awakening. Because they tried to stop me. I mean, they did not want me to be doing what I'm doing right now. So it has not been easy.
Yeah. So now that we hit that point, let's discuss for you, what is consciousness and what's the meaning and how does it affect our reality?
Well, consciousness is basically just kind of like the energetics of awareness, of knowingness, of just basic awareness. So, okay, say one has demonic consciousness. They're conscious of things as far as self-serving, as far as selfishness, as far as being power-hungry, as far as feeding on other people. That would be like demonic consciousness. Unity consciousness would be the awareness and the understanding that we need to work together. We are like a web of life. Each role counts. And it's like a mandala. It's all connected. And in that awareness, when we strengthen these bonds, kind of like the grid lines and the vortexes on Earth, we send information to one another, positive energy, and that raises the frequencies on the planet. So higher consciousness would be the consciousness and awareness of our abilities and who we really are. And so consciousness to me is really just knowingness. What is our awareness, and on what level is it functioning?
So our consciousness creates our own reality. Do you subscribe to that?
Yeah, it does. And our belief systems do as well. I mean, we're still subject to, other people. I mean, we have to share a world with each other. We can't, fully dream our way out of this just yet. But it does create our reality. And that's why, there's the personal reality and how one lives their life and is able to have a beautiful day and everything's wonderful. And then there's the collective conscious reality, which is, okay, we can hold our own truth, but then we're dealing with the planet, and it's our job to participate and to see ourselves as a global family and do something to affect change. So there's the personal consciousness, and then there's the collective consciousness, and who are we in that collective pool, and what role can we take to better ourselves as a collective? First starting with ourselves, of course, but that being, a force that can start to affect the whole.
What are some of the examples that you've encountered within your own life that really set it in stone for you?
As far as consciousness?
Consciousness, the whole Gaia Sophia, because sometimes for myself, I have to question, is this just a belief system, or is this real in fact in what I'm following?
Right. And I'm very not into belief systems. So, I just kind of let everything go. And, I fasted for a long time. I went in the wilderness for a while. I just kind of cleared myself of everything, every programming, every thought, and just sort of dissolved into the planetary body, and just sort of, I couldn't tell the difference between, my physical body and the planetary body. And that's always sort of been the case, because I've been read by a lot of psychics, and being identified through quantum access, what they notice about my aura is it doesn't really close around my body. It kind of connects, it kind of spreads out. Even they said it can cover the whole planet. Whether they're telling the truth or not doesn't matter, but I think that's how they were able to identify me. Something really is weird with my energetic body. So, and I'm sure others have the same thing. I don't know. But the point is, it's just in the experience of, what does it mean for me to be alive, and how can I be a healthy person, and following my body's wisdom and paying attention to my intuition as a way to know how to function. And whatever information I received, I considered to be my truth, because when I wasn't functioning on my own truth, or listening to other people's information, something didn't feel right in me. And it was a belief system that didn't really honor something, and I just couldn't I couldn't be a part of the artificial system or a belief system that wasn't true. It's like I was allergic to it, and I've just always been like that. So basically, I just kind of surrendered to myself and to the planetary body, to the cosmos, and just really felt that it's not about belief systems so much. It's about understanding the forces, the four elements: earth, wind, air, fire. I'm an astrologist, so I just see things in terms of not beliefs about God or dogma or books or this and that. It's more just we're dealing with forces. Like, how do we function in these forces, and what are the laws that are natural to nature? Death, regeneration, birth, those are all things that we see. We see it in nature, we see it in the animal kingdom, we see it in our own human life. And, we see it in the universe when stars are born, and just, constellations and the stories that they supposedly tell, and just the planets and the kind of characteristics they have. So, to some people, astrology might be a belief system, but, this is what the ancients understood, and this is what they used. So a lot of, my understandings, are resonant with a lot of ancient understandings of, how they worked with their crops, the way tides, flowed with nature, and the way, our bodies just flow with the cycles of time. And when one can let go of belief systems, and they're really just participating in creation, which one can learn from just by looking at everything around them, and so I'm very metaphorical in the way that I speak. A lot of things connect to just the cycles, like of a garden, and when something's old, it composts, and the compost becomes more fertile and rich, and the next thing that grows becomes even stronger. And that's very similar to the human soul and its experience through incarnation. So one doesn't have to have a belief system when they can just see the obvious and interpret it, and then see our connection to it, because we are souls and spirits in human bodies that are participating in this creation. So to not get locked into a belief, one can instead get locked into the truth, which is just seeing that, we have a universe that surrounds us, and we're on a physical planet, and it has these four elements, and and what does that mean? And like,